What do you think of that, Mike?
What do you think of that? Oh no, I'm
gonna get my tinfoil hat. Mark Crumbo Weebs, my name is Cole, his name is Mike, his name is Jay, we like anime, and this is episode 168 of AniPro. And on this week's episode, we are reviewing 20th Century Boys, the manga, also known as 20th Century Boys. Strange that it has two names that are so close to each other.
Wait, what was the first one? I thought that's exactly
20th,
what you said.
20th Century Boys is the first name, and then it's also known as 20th Century Boys.
Oh, okay, yeah. Those are like remarkably similar names. You'd almost think they're the same.
Almost, yeah.
But they're different.
They're a little bit different.
Yeah,
I would show
you
you
a nuance there.
Like I would go into it more, but like, we don't got time because you know what else
we really must get on with the show. Yeah.
You know what else we got to do today? We got to talk about some of the best, wackiest conspiracy theories that we could possibly.
This Cold Stream podcast. Other than the second half where we talk about this manga that I've selected for us, he's like the first half will be Cold Stream podcast.
Yeah.
I'm
this
looking
is the
forward.
podcast that Cole wanted to launch, but like he settled for anime.
This is a podcast Cole did launch years before he created this podcast.
It's
true. But he couldn't find reliable enough co-hosts.
It's
so
true.
He suckered me and Jay into it.
Yep, very true.
Cole's been waiting 167 episodes for today.
Exactly. I got one anime episode in, like one anime podcast.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nope, now 167 episodes later. I'm going to drag him back into the cesspool.
This is the real podcast.
You heard them. That's Mike. That's Jay. How are you boys doing? Like, how is life in the big city for you, Jay?
It's good. I just started reading Detective Conan.
Okay.
I saw that you posted Detective Conan in our Discord. I was like, oh, interesting.
Or as some people might know it, Case Closed. And it's so weird because like this is back during the era of Viz where they like westernized all the names. So like the main character's name is Jimmy.
Like Conan's name is Jimmy?
Yeah, like the so Conan is like an alias he goes under, so like nobody knows that it's him.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I've never read it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not a Case Closed guy. The case is still closed for me, is what I'd say.
Yeah.
Hasn't even been opened yet.
Not even dusty and everything. Hasn't even been looked at.
It's cold case.
Cold case. Yeah, cold case for sure.
Yeah. But like it's good. I think like on a mystery standpoint, if you just like mystery of the week type thing, this is a really good mystery, and like I like how it basically challenges you to like figure it out for yourself before it's revealed. So
that's a good mystery.
Yeah.
I think the thing you posted in the Discord literally was the thing saying, "Can you solve this case before Conan does?" Or something. So it literally does challenge you to it. I was like, Jay would be all over that.
Oh, I love it because like it just like says basically go through all the details and figure it out for yourself.
Yeah.
Which is
and have
great.
You?
Oh, for
have
sure.
You solved any? Yeah.
I've solved one.
Out of? We need
out
a
of
percentage
I think I'm on like 8. So like not a great
batting average there.
Not a great batting average. But like I was proud of that one that I was able to solve.
Yeah. You know what? I think by reading Detective Conan though, I think that percentage is going to go up. I feel like you're training to become like even more powerful in your detective skills. I can see Jay as a hard-boiled detective, can't you, Cole?
Yeah, like a gumshoe
like
detective.
A noir detective.
Yeah, like trench coat. He's always like monologuing to himself.
I mean,
all in black and white.
Is.
Yeah. Calling people toots. He already does that though.
He does.
I do. This
gotta
is true.
talk to him
This is
about
true.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of. I get it. It's concerning, but like, look, old habits die hard.
Yeah.
And frankly, it's like far from the most concerning thing that you do on a daily basis. So like,
yeah, these conspiracy theories that we're going to talk about, they were assembled by Jay and Jay.
Yeah, this is just the inner machinations.
These are just my conspiracy theories. But you know what isn't a conspiracy?
I wonder what Jay's gonna say isn't a conspiracy.
What's going on in Mike's old dusty brain there?
It is a conspiracy.
I wasn't ready for that. I thought he was gonna throw it to Cole. What's going on in my dusty brain? It's just like so weak and feeble up there in the old dusty brain. It's extra dusty. The hamster on the wheel is just getting tired, boss. He's just running out of steam because old Mikey's been working lots of overtime, making him sleepy. And he took on this quest. He said, I'm going to renovate my basement floor. I'm going to put a new flooring in. And as life often does, as you will learn in your adulthood, dear listener, who I'm assuming is like Detective Conan age, like 12. You're probably 12 years old, right? You're either 12 or you're 45 in my mind.
Yeah, there's no
infants is what I picture. Yeah.
Speaking of infants, though, like all things in life, I laid these plans. I booked myself full, and then life said, "You know, it'd be like a great wrench to throw in this loop if your baby daughter got her first cold ever,
lovely,
and then infected you and your wife with it as well, while you have all of this stuff going on. Wouldn't that be just delightful?"
Yes.
Oh, beautiful.
To which I responded, yes, it is delightful. But other than that, not a heck of a lot's going on with me. I recently watched, we've been doing the movie night thing, part of our resolutions that we came up with.
Yeah.
And we've been watching some good ones. We watched Mad Max, Furiosa, I believe it's called. The sequel to Fury Road or whatever, which is, prequel actually. Prequel. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not.
No, it is.
Yeah.
Like it's Furiosa.
Yeah.
I think it was in the trailers.
Yeah.
Is it
Furiosa?
Yeah.
Is it that way? Okay. Yeah. Cause I didn't actually put that together till the end. And then I was like, oh, that's the girl from the good movie though. Both of those movies are great. Great, home cinema movies too. Like where you're like, got on a big screen at the home theater and stuff. But this week we watched a old One Piece movie. This is where Cole's eyes roll. Oh, dang it. What was it called? The Baron Omatsuri's Island or something like that. And it was pretty cool because it's a One Piece movie. So obviously it's filler. It's just this random filler arc, right? But it's animated and directed by Mamoru Hosoda from Summer Wars and the Digimon stuff and like Boy and the Wolf or whatever the heck.
Boy and the Beast.
Boy and the Beast, what's the one? Wolf Children. Like, you know Mamoru Hosoda. Didn't he also do Devilman Crybaby? Am I crazy? I don't know. I think
so.
It looks like his style. It looks like his style, right? Devilman, but I don't think he did.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know anything.
You know Mamoru Hosoda. He's a famous dude.
I do.
So it's cool watching One Piece and with like a different art style to it. I really like it because it's like so fluid and fun. But it's also good too because it's just nostalgic too because it came out in like 2005. You get to watch like this old One Piece classic vibes. It's just a lot of fun.
Pre-time skip.
Yeah, way pre-time skip. This is when it came out like, I don't even know what was happening in 2005 in One Piece, but that's literally 20 years ago.
Yeah.
That's nuts. That's nuts to think about.
I'm thinking that would probably, if not at Skypiea, probably like around there, if I were to guess.
Let's see, season Water 7. They were in Water 7.
Oh, they're already in Water 7.
Yeah, they're just meeting. They're getting Frankie. Frankie was just becoming a thing. Yeah. There we go. We've solved the mystery.
Was Frankie in the movie?
No.
No.
This is pre Frankie. Yeah. But you know who is on this podcast? Cole.
Oh,
and you know who's training to become a conductor of this podcast? It's Cole.
Oh, I wasn't even going to bring it up. I literally just downloaded Train Simulator like right before starting here. I've reached new limits of just outrageousness. Yeah. So I don't know if I'm going to like it.
You've simulated flight. You've simulated farming. What will you simulate next? I guess it's trains.
Trains, I guess. Yeah, I've only played like 45 minutes.
What if this podcast is just Cole playing Podcast Simulator?
Oh my goodness.
What if this is Life Simulator, man?
Oh man.
I don't know. I don't even know what's on my mind. I booked a trip to Vancouver for the end of March.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So I don't know. This has been a long week of nothing.
It really was.
Nothingness. Watch some hockey. Like right now, as of recording, we've got that Four Nations face-off thing.
That's
By
cool.
the time this episode comes out, I think somebody will have won. It'll probably be the States because everything's stacked against us, it seems, lately.
Yeah.
And that American team does look pretty good. But interesting. Yeah, interesting. Not much going on, though, in the old world of Cole.
That's okay. It's like a super cold and miserable week up here in Canada land. So
Yeah.
like I feel like you're pretty justified in not doing anything.
Yeah. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. Not that I never do anything. Do you guys want to play a game of Fact, Wacked, or Tinfoil Hat?
What are any of those things?
Well, let me tell you, we're going to discuss the 30 best crazy conspiracy theories that people actually believe.
Okay.
This comes to us from Esquire. We are going to go through these conspiracy theories. I don't know if we'll go through all 30 of them.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll just kind of say,
we get tired of them.
Yeah. And we'll just kind of
until we're
say, is this fact? Are they spitting facts? Do we agree with this?
It's fact.
Mhm.
Okay.
Is it whacked? Like, is this trash? Nothing is redeemable
like,
about this.
Baseless.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is dumb.
Garbage.
This is stupid.
Or is this tinfoil hat? We don't believe in it per se, but it's pretty fun.
Maybe it's
pretty
fun.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's somewhere in between.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So you guys understand the rules. You guys made them up. You see, dear listener, what we did here was Mike pretended ignorance.
Me?
But in reality, we all knew what was happening.
Yeah, it's true.
And that's for you, the listener.
That's a little peek behind the kimono there.
Well, let's get into this list. Like I said, it's from Esquire. I guess we'll link the list if you want to go read it. But let's start off with the number one conspiracy theory on here.
Just
the
in
moon
the world.
landing. Yeah, the moon landing, fake. Need I say any more about this one? There are people on the internet and IRL. This is an old conspiracy theory who think that the moon landing was fake. Mike,
now, Cole, you're kind of like my conspiracy theory consigliere. Like you're the guy who knows these things. You're deep in the sauce. You know, you've ingested this. You know the facts. You know the information. What's like some of the evidence for this one? Because this one I've never really understood. Like, why?
The whole idea is that it was recorded on a soundstage in Area 51 is always where people said. And like the evidence is that the flag was waving and the flag wouldn't wave on the moon because there's no atmosphere. My favorite piece of evidence is that on the rocks, you can see the letter C on them. Okay. So the allegation is that they're props, and NASA rocket scientists forgot that if they took pictures, you could see that. Maybe if they just turned the rock over, but no, they're actually the whole thing behind it. The whole thing is like anti-science has been around for so long, and we never realized it until kind of now.
Yeah.
Like scientists are smart, but people want to think they're really stupid. This to me, whack. The moon landing conspiracy theory is like, it makes me mad.
My favorite piece of evidence that I hear for this is well, like you can't see the flag when you take binoculars or a telescope and look at the moon. Like the flag's not there.
Yeah. Well,
as
of course you can't.
Like, yeah.
You're looking at it from above. What do you think's gonna happen? This one's certified whacked. Like,
certified whack. Also, like, oh, you can't see the stars. Well, you can't see the stars when you go outside during the day too. They're still there.
Take a picture of the sky when the stars are out. See if you can see the stars in the picture. Yeah. Good luck.
I'm giving this tinfoil hat just because, like, whenever I hear this, I'm kind of the opposite of Cole. Like, I think it's it's bullshit. But it's also just like so funny that people actually believe this.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure. It makes me upset because I was always, when I grew up, I was a big NASA nerd. So like
this one makes me upset because it's just like it's basically like, in my opinion, like baseless almost. Like there's I don't know, like it, and we have like actual evidence that they went there because like we have like moon rocks and stuff like that, and we know that like like the moon's surface is super abrasive and wears on your like we know these things. You can see the moon lander still up there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
they left like mirrors up there specifically so that we could shine lasers off of them.
Anyway,
whatever. Whack.
Whack.
But also tinfoil hat a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
All right, here's a more controversial one. The government killed JFK. I guess trigger warning for assassination, I guess. The government killed JFK. The conspiracy theory is that JFK, it depends on who you ask. JFK knew too much, so he had to be taken out by the deep state.
But he's the president. Or he was the president.
He was the president. Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
Shouldn't he be the guy to know too much?
Well,
being
not
the guy
according to the conspiracy theory. You see,
but like,
there's people above the president.
Is that the reason why they think he was assassinated, or was it just like he was doing things that like the government didn't like? Yeah,
like people also said, oh, he was too aligned with like the Soviet Union somehow, even though Lee Harvey Oswald was like a card-carrying communist, so. Like he lived in the Soviet Union before he shot
really check
JFK.
Out then,
yeah, there's a million reasons that people allege why he was, but I mean there is no denying the facts that the CIA does some shady shit.
Oh, for sure. And this one is, unlike the first one, this one does have a few like oddities about it that are kind of like, that's interesting. That's kind of hard to explain, isn't it?
There's some smoke. And I don't know, there's smoldering. I don't know if there's fire per se.
I don't know what it means. The like, I think there's one where like when you like look into Lee Harvey Oswald and like, you're like, that guy couldn't have pulled this off alone.
Yeah.
So he sort of feels like a fall guy a little bit, right?
And the fact that like he was killed, like Lee Harvey Oswald was assassinated days after this as well.
Yeah. That also makes it super sus, right? Like this one's for me, tinfoil hat for sure. Because it's, I don't know that like, so the actual conspiracy is the government killed JFK. I don't know that it was the government, but I think there's more to it. And I didn't Trump just like say unclassify the stuff or something?
Yeah, he said
or
that.
Claim he's going to, I guess.
I don't want to get political, but I'm not going to necessarily believe a lot of the things that he says.
I'm sure it's heavily redacted if it ever does get out.
If it ever does, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Jay, where do you fall on this one? You're awful quiet on the JFK assassination.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of this is just like a lot of justification for something that happened to a beloved political figure, because like JFK was probably one of the most beloved political figures in U.S. history.
Second favorite president, personally.
Yeah, like and the idea
as a Canadian,
that like
I have favorite presidents. Go ahead, Jay.
And the idea that someone could have, like been so upset that they would go and just like, I feel like seems far-fetched to a lot of people. Like how could that possibly be? He was so beloved. So they came up with this like justification for it that like, oh, well, there was a whole. I don't believe it. I think it was just some disgruntled guy went up and did the thing. So I'm gonna say it's whacked.
Whack? Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? To be honest, I'm kind of thinking spitting facts a little bit.
Facts.
Like Mike said, there's more to this. And I don't know. A lot of the evidence I don't necessarily believe, but there's something to this one. So I lean facts on this one.
Okay.
Like
like everything, it's a spectrum, right? Like it's maybe you're not fully facting this one up, but you know that
I'm on the fence, but my leg is kind of off the fence that way.
Yeah.
Next up, this is an interesting one. Earth has been sucked into a black hole.
What? I've never heard this one before.
Yeah,
No,
so
neither
the
have I.
allegation is, Mike, are you familiar with CERN?
I am familiar with
Yeah,
CERN.
so that's the European Organization for Nuclear Research, but it's all spelt out weird because they're Europeans and they don't know how to spell things. When they discovered the Higgs boson particle, allegedly they created a miniature black hole and the Earth was sucked into it, and we just don't know it yet. This one, give me that tinfoil hat. This one's goofy and I love it. Like, hilarious. What do you guys
These believers
think
that the world ended in 2012, but we haven't realized it yet.
Yeah, come on. We got the 2012 conspiracy.
See, no, for me,
CERN.
that linking it to the 2012 business, that decredits this. That makes it more.
That's why I've got my tinfoil hat on. I don't believe it.
Okay.
It's goofy, but it's
awesome.
awesome.
It's insanely goofy. If we were sucked into a black hole, we'd all be dead.
yeah. Spaghettification is a thing.
Yeah, we'd be ripped apart atom by atom.
Well, crushed.
Yeah.
Stretched.
Yeah.
Crushed. Yeah.
Whatever. Who cares? We'd be dead.
Yeah. We'd be dead.
Yeah.
Unless.
And the fact that
Unless
this goes with the simulation theory that everything's just a simulation. But no,
spoilers. That'll
look,
come
man.
up, maybe?
Look, man.
Probably
this is
come up.
whack.
Okay.
I like
agree.
the idea. I like the idea. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I feel like for a tinfoil theory to be like tinfoil hat, it like you need some popularity and traction to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the fact that
for
this
sure.
is so like backdoor, just kind of.
Yeah.
For me
Oh,
too,
yeah.
it's not zesty enough for a tinfoil hat theory either. Like this one, it's just kind of like it's kind of boring. It's like, oh yeah, the world ended already, and we're just not aware of it. It's like, okay,
So then did it end?
Yeah, what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
Not a lot of meat on this one, I don't think,
Yeah.
for me.
I'm keeping my hat on, guys. I like this next one too. Disney created Frozen as a distraction. So when I read that headline, does that make any sense to you guys? Or do
Yes,
I
I
need to
do.
explain it?
Yes, I think I know
Okay,
exactly what you're talking about.
So the whole thing, Walt Disney, there's a big conspiracy around Walt Disney that he was frozen when he died.
Yeah.
Oh.
And the family said, no, that didn't happen. Or his head was frozen specifically.
Yeah.
So he could
has
go on into his next life and do
Yeah.
not great things.
Allegedly. Continue to be not a questionable person. Yeah.
So the Walt Disney Company made Frozen, the movie Frozen, so that when you look up Disney Frozen on Google, you get results for the movie instead of Walt Disney Frozen.
Instead of the conspiracy theory, yeah.
This one's
I've heard
facts.
this one.
I believe this one.
You believe this one?
I believe this one for sure. That's actually that's just good marketing. That's just smart. People do this all the time.
Oh, no. Okay. So hold on. The conspiracy theory isn't that it's for marketing. It's so that when people try to find if
It's
Walt
to cover
Disney
it up.
has been frozen,
it's
to cover it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's I believe it. I believe it 100% because this is like the Taylor Swift Jets thing where she did something with the Jets. So when you search Taylor Swift Jet, it doesn't come up anymore. Some NFL stuff comes up.
Yeah.
This is distraction noodle for sure. This is real. This happens for sure.
Just
That's a
straight
weird
up facts. Okay.
This is facts.
All right.
I believe this 100%. 100%
Right.
I do. Yeah.
Jay?
You guys talk me out of it.
I think if you look at it just as two separate theories, he didn't actually freeze himself, but they didn't want people looking into it because it's bad publicity for the company.
Yeah, I don't think he's frozen for what it's worth.
Yeah. That's kind of what I thought you were getting at. I think that is plausible, but if it was he is frozen, but they don't want people to look into that, I think that is a bit more tinfoil hat.
For sure.
Okay.
So it depends on the context of how you look at it there. And I'm kind of on the fence, so I'm gonna say tinfoil hat because it depending on the context of that theory. Yeah.
As it's written here, it says a new theory is that the Walt Disney Company created Frozen as a way to hack Google's search algorithm and distract consumers from information about the late Walt Disney's possible frozen procedure. As that's written, I'm saying tinfoil hat, that is awesome.
Yeah.
Because I think the way it's written too, it doesn't necessarily call on you to believe whether or not he's frozen.
Mm-hmm.
Just acknowledging that is a theory people have or a conspiracy people have.
Yeah.
But like, I totally can see Disney being like, okay, we're sick and tired of people talking about Walt Disney being frozen in ice somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing though is like, who still talks about that? You know,
yeah, I haven't heard that one in a long time,
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Which means that it worked.
I guess
it worked.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
it worked. All right, here's another one. We've got the Denver International Airport is the Illuminati's headquarters. Are you guys familiar with this one at all?
No.
I'm not familiar with it all.
Okay.
By the way, I just want to say I just Googled Disney Frozen, and the fifth thing that came up was Walt Disney frozen after death? So their plan failed.
It failed. So basically, there's a lot of, without getting too in detail, there's a lot of like weird, suspicious stuff with the Denver International Airport that just fuels conspiracy theorists.
Okay.
Like allegedly they built this airport. Meanwhile, they didn't even need it, and it's huge. There's miles and miles of underground tunnels and lots of Freemasonry imagery and stuff like that. Meanwhile, if you look into it, no, the old airport was kind of old and they needed a new one because Denver is like a centralized city where lots of flights go through.
Yeah.
There's underground tunnels because kind of all airports have that so that staff can get around and stuff. And yeah, Freemasons are everywhere, people. Like, that's just, my grandpa was a Freemason. Like, they're
That's
just
why
a
Cole's so
social
into
club.
conspiracy theories, because
Be quiet.
his father or grandfather was a Freemason.
I'm saying whack on this one, but what do you guys think?
I think that I'm with you on that. This is whack.
I'm even looking. I did some secondary research here as you guys were talking, and I don't really like. I don't even. This one's really like not very convincing in any way to me at all. Like, it's the giant blue horse sculpture is a nod to the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. Or I don't know. Maybe there's just lots of like horses in Denver.
Yeah,
like they have the Denver Broncos.
The Broncos.
The Broncos, yeah.
It's I don't know. I don't get this. This one I don't get. But I do find the caption here: from secret tunnels full of lizard people to a cursed horse statue.
I will say the horse statue is interesting. The person who built the horse statue was crushed to death under the head of the horse statue. So that's why it was cursed, allegedly. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But that was just an accident, a horrible accident, of course, but ultimately,
honestly,
unrelated to the Illuminati.
Totally, that was totally unrelated. He didn't know too much or anything. Honestly, just all airports are cursed, just because they're like the most stressful places. But I don't. But this one's whacked for sure.
Yeah.
This one's whacked. This is both boring and not convincing. This one.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Here's one. The Earth is hollow.
Okay.
The Earth is hollow.
What's in there?
There is a star inside of the Earth, and people live on the inside of the Earth.
Oh, there's like a hidden society inside the Earth.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just based off of that information alone. Oh, and then there's like pictures on Google Earth of giant holes in the Arctic and the Antarctic, and apparently that's how you get into the hollow Earth.
By going to the unpopulated land.
Some guy at my work made me watch a video of that, of some pilot who like apparently flew into the middle of the Earth through Antarctica or something in like the 1950s or something.
Yeah.
Very unconvincing, I will say.
And then he found like a bunch of like Nazis or something. Like that's where the Nazis went, actually. They went to Antarctica and the hollow Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah. So fact or whack?
Mike,
I think I know where you fall on this one.
I like the idea of the Earth having like secrets down, like, because we're always looking up. We're always looking up and being like, wonder what's out there, you know? We never look beneath our feet and say, wonder what's down there.
Yeah.
And I do believe that, like, I don't know, we don't know what's at the bottom of the oceans, a lot of it. There could be stuff down there we don't know about.
Oh,
And we don't really know what's in the middle of the earth, honestly, either. Like, even like
we just
our
have
evidence of
things.
what's in the middle of the earth is not very good either, I don't think. So this one, I think that there is something to this. Do I think the earth is hollow specifically? No, I don't think the earth is hollow. So I'm gonna say whacked. No, you know what? Tinfoil. This is gonna be my first tinfoil hat, I think. I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat for this one a little bit.
All right.
I like the idea. It makes for good sci-fi if the earth is hollow and there's mole
True.
people living down there, you know?
I think that that plot idea was literally in National Treasure.
I think it was
Like
Journey to the Center of the Earth.
I think it's been used a
right,
few
yeah.
times. I think
Yeah.
it's been used a few times, yeah.
Oh, and the new Godzilla King Kong movies is all Hollow Earth.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Jay,
So like
fact or whack?
if you hit the earth hard enough, you can play it like a drum. I'm gonna say tinfoil hat. It like I think that the idea is amusing. But do I think that that's the case? No. I don't know. I feel like there would be more evidence to this being a thing if it were.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I guess like when a meteorite hits the earth, you should technically hear like a ringing. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Like for specifically if it was hollow.
Have you ever heard the theory? Have you ever heard of the time that NASA crashed like a moon or a rocket part into the moon, and it rang like a bell?
Whoa.
You ever heard of that?
No. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so there's allegations that the moon is also hollow. Actually, the allegation is that the moon is like a spaceship.
Made of cheese, made of
No, it's
barbecue
like a
spare
spaceship
ribs.
from Aliens.
Mm.
Oh, right. I've got to say, I'm also going tinfoil hat on this one. Just it's entertaining. It's funny to me.
Yeah. That one's a fun one, kind of.
It's a fun
Kind
one.
of.
Here's one that should be fun, but unfortunately is like believed by far too many people. So kind of
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and it needs no introduction. The world is flat. Flat Earth.
Flat Earth.
Flat Earthers.
You knew it'd be on this list.
Yeah. So I mean, the idea is that big globe is keeping the truth from us, and that truth is the Earth is flat.
Yep. Just like in Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, and Australia isn't real. That's probably my favorite part of the flat Earth thing. We have Australian listeners. Let us know if you're real.
Yeah.
Maybe they're
Do you
in on it.
exist? Let us know.
Maybe they're in on it.
I just love the sentence. We have Australian listeners. Do you exist?
Well, we gotta ask. We gotta ask.
Yeah.
We're doing research here.
Yeah, fact or whack, Mike.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Cole. I think this one should be tinfoil hat because it's kind of fun. It should be funner than it is.
Yeah.
But because it's so widely believed and how popular it is, now it's kind of annoying. It's kind of annoying, this one a little bit. And the annoyingness makes me say it's whacked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Agreed. 100%.
We have pictures of the Earth from space.
So if you zoom out enough, Earth is just a speck of dust.
Mhm.
And a speck of dust is 2D. Therefore, Earth is flat.
I mean, can't argue with that logic.
Yeah. Except you're right. You just can't argue with that at all. Yeah.
I mean, if you're a photon coming from the sun, the Earth appears flat. I watched a Vsauce video about it.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I
So,
mean, what is
shape? So aside from like those stupid like logic bending ideas that make this theory more fun, or like just dunking on people that genuinely believe it, I think like that is fun. Like the meme culture and all that spawned from the theory, but the theory itself is whack.
Yeah. I think
And like I've always we live in the prairies, right? It's very flat here.
Yeah.
The Earth is quite flat where we are.
Yeah.
And in fact, if you go out really far, like away from the cities and stuff, and you go and like stand in a field and just like look, you can quite literally just see the curvature of the Earth if you're in a flat enough place.
When I look up, I see, like, when I'm outside and I look up, I just see the curvature of the atmosphere. Like, I mean...
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see the shadow of the Earth, like,
Yeah.
at sunset sometimes, where it's, like, coming over the horizon.
It's crazy. Yeah. Anyway. Anywho. Cole, did you
Come on.
declare? what this was for you? I
said I echoed your sentiment exactly.
Okay.
I wish this could be tinfoil hat, but it's too it's toxic. It's become a toxic thing, and
Kind of,
I don't like it. This is a I don't say a good one, but a funny one. I've never heard this one before.
I've never heard this one either.
Prince Charles is a vampire. Never heard of this one, but it's fact. Prince Charles is a vampire. Fact.
True.
Oh, he's related to Vlad the Impaler. That's
Yeah.
why he
Allegedly.
would say this.
Allegedly.
I guess. I don't know. Fact.
Yeah, this one's definitely fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's our head of state, ladies and gentlemen.
Many royals in Charles' bloodline were known to have the disease porphyria, which is an iron deficiency that causes people to be sensitive to sunlight.
Also, look at his hands.
And look at his hands, yeah.
And that hat?
That
top
Yeah,
hat?
in this picture specifically,
That's very vampiric.
Yeah.
I mean, he's
That's
kind of
true.
balling in that picture, to be honest.
He kind of actually is. He's kind of got a bit of
he
swag
is
to
the
him,
king,
actually.
so I guess.
See, that's the
He
thing.
is.
He maybe is a vampire because, like, if you think about it, he just magnetized all of us by just what picture. We're looking at a picture of him. We're
Yeah.
magnetically attracted to him. This has got legs. This one's got legs. Tinfoil hat
Okay,
for sure.
Mike, you do bring up a good point. Would he have shown up in the picture if he really was a vampire?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
think
mirrored.
so.
It's not a mirror.
Well, I
Unless it's a
mean,
mirrored camera.
yeah.
Some cameras have mirrors.
Yeah.
Jay's
Most
onto
do.
something. I'm still saying fact.
I'm going tinfoil hat.
Okay. Jay?
I'm gonna say tinfoil hat here. Yeah. I like the idea.
Yeah.
I love this.
I like this
theory.
one. I like this one, especially like royals. Royals are weird. There's weird things with royals, and I don't like it. You know.
Yeah.
And I feel like vampire might be one of them.
Ugh.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. Classic. Bigfoot is real. Bigfoot is real.
And he's me.
And he's Jay. You should see that guy's feet. Okay, first of all, to be clear, I do not believe in Bigfoot. I believe that we would have found him by now. But let me tell you, I'm putting on my tinfoil hat for this one because I want to believe. I want them to find Bigfoot, and also like the whole like Sasquatch like culture, you know, people searching for Bigfoot and stuff.
Yeah.
It's so entertaining. Yeah. It's tough for me not to put on a tinfoil hat for this one.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I agree with you, Cole. Like, I think we would have found him by now, right? Like,
oh, for sure.
You guys do say that, but like Mike said for that center of the earth thing, like we don't know what's entirely in our oceans, right? Like,
yes.
Is there a sea Bigfoot you're thinking of?
The only thing that would make Bigfoot possible is if it was like some kind of paranormal entity who could literally disappear. Like we've flown helicopters up there looking for him with thermal cameras, and we can't see him. But there's always an excuse. People will be like, "Oh, it's because the foliage is too thick. I'll never see him." It's like you can see deer.
He's good at hiding.
He's good at hiding.
But like,
I guess.
how would you not differentiate him from like a bear or something?
Well, I mean, one would be Bigfoot shaped and one would be bear shaped, I guess.
Okay.
Like Bigfoot's allegedly it's like 8 feet tall. Like we can't find this thing.
Bears are pretty big too.
Bears
Not
are
that big.
But like, what if you saw a like Bigfoot on thermal cameras and just thought like, it's just a bear?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
yeah, that's probably what he actually was in the first place. I think Cole's onto something here. I think if Bigfoot was real, we would have found him, because as soon as like everyone started carrying around really good quality HD cameras on them, suspiciously, there's been way less sightings of Bigfoot. You think we would have got him by now, you know?
Yeah.
You think
I will say some of my favorite stories are Bigfoot stories, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's
Like
your favorite
people are
one?
like-
Quick off the dome.
Well, honestly, like I was at a house party at your house, Mike.
Yes.
And there was one of your guests who was talking about like how he was hunting and like they could hear some creature out in the bush. And like, yeah, it could be anything. There's animals that live out in the woods.
Nope, it's
But,
Bigfoot.
I mean, you say like Bigfoot stories in the right like frame of mind. There's some of the freakiest stories. And then when you
they are.
you take a step back, it's like, oh yeah, no,
I
it's
feel
probably like a deer or a bear.
At this point, Bigfoot is kind of used as a as an insert word for like an unidentified creature. Right? So like I don't know what this is. It's Bigfoot. Right?
Yeah. Do you like the term Bigfoot or do you like the term Sasquatch better?
Sasquatch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Sasquatch
better.
more.
Yeah.
It's more feels more genuine. Bigfoot is like Bigfoot.
He's got Bigfoot.
Sasquatch sounds like
legit. He's a creature.
Yeah.
Sasquatch is a creature. Bigfoot's a dude. You know?
Yeah. Oh, what did you guys say? I said tinfoil hat, Mike.
I'm going whack on this one, I think. I'm going to say this one's whacked because I feel like now, like maybe like 50 years ago, I would have believed it, but now I'm like, there's just more evidence. Like the lack of evidence is stunning on this one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jay?
I want to go tinfoil hat.
Like, it's you?
It's you, yeah.
It's me. No, tinfoil hat, because like I do want to believe in the idea that like there's still more stuff to discover that we haven't discovered. And I love the idea that like we're still figuring out this blue marble we call home.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Here's one. And I'm only including this because I love the sentence for the description. The Nazis had a secret base in Antarctica. Rumors began circulating in the 1950s that the Nazis had a secret base in Antarctica that housed advanced technologies like UFOs.
Okay.
Fact.
The next sentence says, however, since then, no evidence has been discovered to suggest that it's true. And researcher Colin Summerhays wrote a 21-page paper disputing the theory.
Wow, what a party pooper. What a party pooper. Yeah. No, tinfoil hat on this one. This one's fun. I love the stories of this.
No, this is dumb. I don't like this one.
No, it's so fun, man. Which game had like a whole DLC based around this?
Bad one.
You guys talk.
Probably. Yeah. No, I'm not going to talk. I'm going to move on to the next one here. Well, just to mess with Cole. No, I'm kidding. Jay, do you believe this one? Do you like this one?
I kind of think it's a little stupid, just because, like, if they had advanced technology, then, like, wouldn't they do something with it? Like, why would they just, like, have it and just sit there with it and hide with it?
There's so many, like, there's a lot of theories that are tied to, the Nazis were, like, actually, like, superior. Like, they really had all this other stuff, and it's like, are you sure you're not just, like, are you just on their side right now? Is that what you're trying to get at? Like,
yeah, you're just a Nazi.
Maybe.
Hey,
maybe.
What the hell? I just think it's funny. I just think it's funny.
It is kind of funny to think like they're like hanging out with aliens and stuff.
The U.S. Navy went down there and had like aerial battles with Nazi UFOs and stuff. Like that's ridiculous. Like there would have had to have been thousands of soldiers and airmen and sailors and stuff, but nobody talked about it. That's why it's tinfoil hat.
And nothing's left back there. Like there's
outrageous.
Yeah.
But we can't go into Antarctica. They won't let us. They won't let us go into Antarctica, even though it's super duper dangerous and they don't want a bunch of people there dying. That's what they want you to think, though.
They let anyone go to Everest. Lots of people die on Everest.
Yeah. And you can go to Antarctica, by the way. Yeah. You can pay to go there. We watched a whole anime about it.
Yeah, I was just about to say there's an anime about going to Antarctica.
We're all living in the Matrix.
But that's what they want you to think, that you can just go there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're all living in the Matrix. Is this fact or whack? We live in a simulation.
I mean, there's no way to figure out. There's no way to find out.
I mean,
is the thing.
Maybe there is. Maybe there's a way.
The Matrix one is, I feel like this is Jay's like pet theory because I feel like he brings it up a lot that we're all living in a simulation a little bit.
Does he?
Do I?
I feel like you do. And I kind of like Cole on I forget what show, which I think it was our Lane review. He was like, even if we are living in a simulation, like who cares? What does it change?
That's kind of where I
all?
stand on it. Yeah.
Yeah. But like,
I'm pretty agnostic about everything. So like if a simulation was like a legit thing, like, I don't know, how does that change my life in any way? You know, still got to live, still got to pay my goddamn bills.
Do you though?
Well, sure. I don't know. I'll get you to talk to my bill payees.
Just tell him that you live in a simulation, then show him the proof.
True.
And then he'll just go,
Yeah.
oh,
no.
and then he'll become a nihilist, and then nothing will matter anymore.
Yeah. We're nihilists. We believe in nothing.
You know what I find funny is in The Matrix, it takes place in 1999.
Yeah.
And they describe they say 1999 is the peak of human civilization.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I'm sure anyone reading that or hearing that was like, that's crazy. But
Now?
like, I don't know, man.
They're kind of
Things
spitting.
were good back then. I don't know. You could
spitting
afford
facts.
things.
Yeah.
Do we live in the Matrix though? No, we don't live in the Matrix. There's not big weird pod armed robots chasing me down.
Well, that
Yeah,
was
it's got-
outside the Matrix.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. In the Matrix, you're hunted by like agents.
Agents
Yeah.
shoots.
But we're just like
Kinda
grunts in
true.
the Matrix.
Yeah, we're not
Yeah.
like
We're batteries. We're batteries in the real world.
Yeah.
And I did take a blue pill today.
Why did you do that? Had a little fun, Mike?
Huh?
How big was the blue pill?
Quite large, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It wasn't
liquid
that
gel.
blue pill.
A liquid gel.
It's like a different blue pill.
No, this was not the fun blue pill. No.
Jay, fact or whack?
uh
Or tinfoil hat.
no, I think that this is whack. It just like
Yeah.
it's just kind of dumb cuz like
Mhm.
yeah, it I guess it like it invokes a sense of cosmic horror, but like I think that's where the entertainment of it comes from rather than the actual believability of it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going whack on this one too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm indifferent to it, I guess.
It's not fun to me that we're living in a conspiracy or living in a matrix or something. I don't know. That just doesn't feel fun to me either. I kind of agree with you guys.
It doesn't even like fill me with dread. Like there's more things like the asteroid that's coming to hit the Earth in 2032.
Whopping
That's
2% chance of that one. Yeah.
Well, they increased it
might
from
take
1% the week before.
Yeah.
Might take out
Wow.
a city. Yeah.
And then I read the article you posted too, and it was like these numbers are like the highest estimate possible. So I was like,
Well, now
Yeah.
they know?
Did they update the Doomsday clock yet this year?
Yeah, they did.
Did they?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
yeah,
What are we at?
2 milliseconds to midnight. I have no idea.
I don't know. We've been really close to midnight.
Yeah,
for a
we've-
while.
I saw
been
it really
inching-
recently that they did though.
We've been
Been
inching
tickling.
closer to midnight like every year.
Yeah. I think we'll call it here, boys.
89 seconds to midnight. But yeah, I think you're right, Cole.
89 seconds. Like that's kind of,
I don't
very specific.
understand the doomsday clock. I don't really get it. But
I don't know. A bunch of eggheads figure it out.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
get out of here.
it kind of falls in line with the conspiracy theory of like just big nerds figuring out like how likely the apocalypse is to come.
Yeah. Yeah. These
Yeah.
guys don't know nothing though. They ain't
Yeah.
out here in the real world like us, toiling
Doomsday
away.
Doomsday clock, whacked. What even is it?
Kind of a little bit. Like it's
Yeah.
Well, a little bit, because like I feel like the world could end whenever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
What, these bunch of eggheads calculated the end of the world, and they're like, guys, guess what? We're 1 second closer now. It's just
Yeah.
like, shut up.
89 seconds. That's stupid.
89, we're going to be at 89 and a half in a couple of weeks, probably.
Yeah.
Or no, it'll be 87 and a half.
Yeah, it would be closer.
I'm calling it.
Yeah.
I'm calling it.
Break
This
time.
is where we end it for the break. Maybe
Okay.
we'll revisit this in like a bonus episode or something, because there's still a lot here
I
that I
think
want to get
Cole's
into.
bonus is next, so yeah, save the meat.
Yeah.
Save some
Prepare
meat from this
yourselves.
bone. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll go to a break. We'll talk about a manga that involves conspiracy theories. Hey, go figure.
Whoa.
It's like this was connected.
Whoa.
We're going to talk about 20th Century Boys after the break. So stick around. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep.
After
True.
this, and by this, I mean...
Break. Hey there, AniPro listeners. It's your snack-loving host, Mike. And today I'm here to talk to you about something so sweet, so delightful, and so Japanese that it might just make your taste buds propose to you. That's right, I'm talking about Sakuraco's February box, which is themed Valentine's Delights. Now, what's Sakuraco, you ask? Oh, it's only the coolest monthly Japanese snack box on the planet. It's like a little care package from Japan, but fancier. Each box comes with 20 authentic, traditional Japanese snacks, teas, and even a piece of Japanese tableware. And this February, it's all about love, chocolate, and snacks so good they'll make you want to write a haiku about them. This month's theme is Valentine's Delights, and let me tell you, this box is packed with romance. We're talking indulgent Japanese chocolate confections, beautifully crafted wagashi. That's fancy Japanese sweets for those of us who don't speak dessert fluently. And teas so good, they'll make you want to break up with your morning coffee. It's like a Valentine's date in a box, but without the awkward small talk. Okay, let's get to the snacks because, oh boy, are they good. First up, we've got chocolate carinto. Imagine a crunchy, sweet snack that's like a love letter to your taste buds. Then there's strawberry monaka. A delicate wafer filled with strawberry goodness that's so cute you might feel bad about eating it. But don't worry, it's worth it. And don't even get me started on chocolate kuzu mochi. It's soft, chewy, and basically the snack version of a nice warm hug. Oh, and there's caramel hajicha tea, which pairs with these snacks so perfectly. It's like they were made for each other. Move over, Romeo and Juliet. This is the real love story. But wait, there's more. Every Sakuraco box comes with a cultural guidebook that's like your personal tour guide to Japanese snacks and culture. Plus, this month's box includes a plum furoshiki, a traditional Japanese wrapping cloth that's so pretty you'll want to frame it, but don't, because it's also super practical. It's like a cherry on top of an already amazing snack sundae. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I get this magical box of joy? Just head over to sakuraco.com using the link in this episode's description and then use the code AniPro, that's ANIPRO, at checkout for an exclusive discount on your first box. Whether you're treating yourself or surprising your significant other or your cat, no judgment, this box is the perfect way to celebrate love, snacks, and all things Japan. So what are you waiting for? Go to sakuraco.com using the link in our description and order your February Valentine's Delights box today. Trust me, your taste buds will thank you. And don't forget to use that code AniPro for your special offer. That's ANIPRO. Well, that's it for today's snacktastic recommendation, AniPro listeners. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the second half. Until then, happy snacking. And remember, love is sweet, but snacks are sweeter.
Welcome back to AniPro. We're back. Mike is back. Jay is back. I am also here, present.
Cole is front.
I'm
Cole
ready.
is friend.
Ooh.
I have a crisp $20 bill for you, Cole,
Thank you.
and a crisp
I'll take that.
$20 bill for you, Jay.
Wow,
Thank
thank you. It's not even
Yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
No, it's not.
It's just that time of year where Mike gives us
Yep.
each a $20 bill.
Don't
favorite
spend it
time of
all in
year.
one place.
Every Valentine's, I give you each a $20 bill, and I say, "Suck it up, princess."
Suck it up. That's what he says to us.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That is
This
true.
is true. This is true. It happens every year.
We weren't able to get to this in the first half, so I figured, you know what? Let's do this in the second half.
It's time for the mailbag.
It's mailbag time. If you got a mailbag question, you can send it to us over at our website, AniProPod.com/mailbag, or on our Discord. This one comes from our Discord, if you believe that. It's a conspiracy. It's
Do
also
you
a
believe in
patron.
Discord.
It's also a patron priority mailbag. Wee woo. That is not a
Wee
conspiracy.
woo.
That is the truth. It's from Mogmog. Which anime had the biggest drop off from being all over the cultural zeitgeist when it was on to never hearing anyone mention it once it's over? So what anime was big when it was being released, but then everybody kind of just forgot about it or just kind of dropped it? It was the Toy Story meme, Vandy dropping the toy.
Yeah.
I don't want to play
I'm done with you. I'm done with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm on to the next one.
Now, when I ask the question, because I like to make sure we've all got an answer before we jump into it, you know.
It's
and
very generous of you as a host.
Mike was like, got an answer right off the bat. So
Yeah.
I'm curious. Mike had an idea immediately. I'm wondering what your answer to this one is, Mike.
Oh, it's Jujutsu Kaisen for sure.
What? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Once the manga ended and after season 2 ended, I think it's fallen off the map now. I don't think no one's talking about it. No one's saying anything about it anymore. Most people, I think, most fans of Jujutsu Kaisen know that, like, all right, the best stuff has happened now. This next stuff, nobody likes it as much. It's not going to be as good. So no one's like hyped for it. I think officially after this season, which was like one of the, like we said in our review of it, or seasonal episodes of that year, where like, this is like some of the, I said it, you guys were mocking it, but it's like some of the best battle shonen that there is, and from like an animation and everything else standpoint. But I think going forward, it's fallen off. I think it's going to fall off hard, and it'll still be animated well. There'll still be people who like it, but it won't ever reach the hype of what it is. We'll never have a Lobotomy Kaisen again. We'll never have all this other stuff anymore. And for that reason, I'm going to have the hot take of saying Jujutsu Kaisen has fallen off.
I don't think it's a hot take. When I was scrolling through like anime to try to find one, I saw Jujutsu Kaisen and I thought, that could be a pick. But then I thought, no, people still like it. So like the fact that you, famously a Jujutsu Kaisen fan,
are the biggest one on the podcast, I would say. Yeah.
Oh, for sure, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Says this. That's okay. Valid take. Yeah.
Yeah. Culling game, there's too much going on. It's just not great. It's just not a good time. And I'm going to watch the third season, but I am going to be not having a great time with it, I'm sure.
I feel like when the Calling game comes out, though, like, people are still going to be gassing it up like it's the best thing ever.
For sure.
Because
but it'll fall off, I promise you.
Yeah. Jay, you have an answer before me.
Also, too, I also have a bit of a controversial one here, and it's because I'm honing in more on the fact the question says anime. Because I feel like more people, when they're talking about the series, they talk about the manga, but they don't really like refer to the anime that much, and that's Chainsaw Man. I feel like not that many people talk about the Chainsaw Man anime anymore, and the conversation when talking about that series just revolves around what's going on in the manga.
Yeah, I think they may have kind of lost traction on it. Yeah. Waiting too long between the first season. I know the movie is coming out shortly, and I'm sure it'll be really good. But yeah, in terms of like the zeitgeist, I think you're onto something here, Jay. The manga's still going, obviously.
Yeah.
And the anime will come back, I'm assuming.
And obviously when it does come back, it'll go back into the zeitgeist. People will be talking about it again. But right now,
probably, maybe not though.
Maybe not. I mean, it's a movie, so like we'll probably get it like a bit after it comes out in Japan. So yeah,
no, good pick. I think that's valid too. It's not something I would think about, which kind of goes to show it's not something that's like immediately comes to mind.
I think this one's more of a, I think once that movie does come out and is available to us, like when season 2 comes out, I think people will be hyping it up again.
Possibly.
Because I think actually it's, unlike Jujutsu Kaisen, I think this one's going to be ramping up into its good stuff.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, Chainsaw Man has the benefit of like having a solid story from start to finish, where Jujutsu Kaisen kind of fumbles the bag at the end. Like it peaks and then it like we've reached that peak in the anime and now it's kind of more of the same. Where Chainsaw Man is just constantly like upping the ante. So I think I agree. Right now, it's not really in the zeitgeist. The anime isn't really in the zeitgeist. Yeah. So I think that pick's valid.
And even for people talking about the manga, like you get a lot of people saying like Fujimoto fell off for the second half. And like Fujimoto's said that like he's really not interested in drawing Chainsaw Man anymore. So
I think Fujimoto though is still like going, like, still swinging for the fences. Like, he's doing stuff that other mangaka wouldn't do.
I think like in argument against the people who are like he fell off, like I think the quality of the story is still consistent with part 1.
Yeah.
It's just very different.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure it's different, which I like. I'd rather have that than it just kind of be the same thing.
What's the point of part 2 if it's the same thing, right?
Yeah. But regardless, I have an answer as well. And it's funny, like we kind of went like all 3 shonen shows, but I'm going with My Hero Academia as well. Like the anime is just kind of, who watches that anymore? You know, other than like people who are like so invested that like they feel like they have to. I haven't watched My Hero Academia in probably 3 seasons, and I don't really see people talking about it ever. What do you guys think? Like, am I wrong on this, or?
I don't think so.
I mean, I kind of get what you're saying. Like, My Hero Academia popped into mind when I was thinking about it, but like, people like I still see some people talk about it, so like I was kind of iffy on it. But like,
I just mean like
it's not at the same level as it used to be.
You used to be able to walk into a Walmart and buy a My Hero Academia poster at Walmart.
Yeah.
And now it's like,
still can.
I'm sure you still can, but I mean, like now people don't even really talk about it. Like, I mean,
it's kind of like it used to be front and center. Now it would probably be like bargain bin, right?
Yeah. Still popular, but not like nowhere near what it was.
No, shadow of its former self.
It's also like the manga's done. So like, there's not really any new content we're gonna get. From the Vigilante spinoff that's coming.
Yeah, Shonen Jump just releasing trash. That's what this is all about. Just
apparently, yeah. Well, I think we're seeing the end of an era, and I think maybe the beckoning of a new one is what's happening here.
Yeah,
because like the problem with My Hero Academia's anime too is that the quality for the last couple seasons has just been subpar, and that even like I was keeping up, and then eventually I was just like, man, I just can't anymore. I just don't care.
It in me anymore.
Yeah.
100%. I agree. Well, let us know in the comments below, like if you can think of an anime like this. So an anime that was big, everybody was talking about it, and then all of a sudden,
not so much.
It's not anymore. I'm curious if we get some responses on this one.
I'd love to see like some spicy ones. What are the spicy ones you can think of?
Yeah, Attack on Titan. You know,
Make it edgy.
Yeah. Sword Art Online. Ooh, that'd be a good one.
Yeah, no one talks about that anymore.
Yeah.
SAO's kind of dead.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. No one talks about that anymore. Definitely.
Never dead to me, though.
It's always going to live on in my heart.
Yeah, nobody talks about that. Definitely not
Attack on Titan
anime podcast.
Still is relevant. People were... I was on my TikTok the other day, like literally today even, actually, I think, and I saw someone posting like the last scene from the final the movie that just came out.
Oh, like I'm just giving examples.
Cole's just...
But yes, please comment a spicy one. Either here or in our Discord.
Meme just came out like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And, it's valid.
The recap movies just came out, and like...
The final recap movie.
Do you guys want to talk about a manga?
I do.
I read a manga.
I
read a manga this week. 32, 33 chapters? I don't know.
Something like that.
32 chapters of 20th Century Boys, also known as 20th Century Boys. We reviewed this manga this week.
I needed to know the other name. I couldn't recognize it by the first one.
Now, Mike, this was your pick. You forced us. You set us down in the chair. You sat us down in the chair. Proverbial
chair there,
and you forced me to read this manga to completion. All 280 something chapters of it.
I didn't do that. So it's curious if you did that.
You sat me down and you said, "You listen here, boy. You're gonna read
that."
this
I probably said
whole thing,
and then he slapped Cole across the face, and it was like, "Whoa, that was violent," but also kind of like
he like caressed my hair,
kind of hot.
And then he grabbed it.
Yeah.
It's like I was scared, so I read all of it. Mike, what's this about, though? Can you tell me?
Did you actually read all of it? I'm curious.
No.
Okay, I was gonna say that's crazy. Okay. This manga, I suggested it because I made us read it because it was one of Urasawa's works that I haven't read. I've read Pluto and I've read Monster. and I loved both of them. And this one has been kind of I've been seeing it at our local bookstore. I've been slowly picking up the volumes of it, these perfect editions that you see right here behind me as we're recording.
Ooh.
Which, like, confusingly, each volume, the chapters reset, so I had to actually like figure out which one was chapter 32, and it's like halfway through the book.
That's
annoying. That's like classic Viz too. Viz used to do that back in the day, but they don't anymore.
It's one of those things that's like, that would only be a problem for literally this exact scenario.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would never matter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
But anyway, but I hear you, listener. You're asking, what is a 20th century boy? What is this all about?
I am a 20th century boy.
We are. Cole and I and Jay are all 20th century boys.
We're all 20th century boys.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Yeah.
It is a classic rock song by the band T-Rex.
Mm-hmm.
It is also the title of Naoki Urasawa's 1990s manga that he put out. And here's a quick, it's a sprawling epic. Here's my little spiel here. 20th Century Boys is a sprawling epic that follows Kenji Ito and his childhood friends as they confront a mysterious cult leader known only as Friend. It kind of comes out that they when they were young, they sort of had like this like doomsday plan that they were like joking about, like the scenario where it was like, oh, this is what would happen if the world was going to end. And they called it the prophecy. And kind of like the manga jumps back and forth. It does a time skip. It's very like, not Stranger Things.
Like It.
It's very It.
Yeah,
It kept reminding me of It because it goes back to the 90s. It goes back to the 90s and then the 2000s when they're like adults. And like they kind of forget what happened when they were young, and it's like you'll jump back to the past and it'll like remember it kind of thing. And basically they're trying to figure out like what this Friend guy's gonna do because they know that he's basically planning like world destruction, and the only people who can stop him are our main cast here. And where we left off, honestly, it hasn't really got too deep into the conspiracy yet. We just kind of know it's still setting up, I would say. So
it feels
our thoughts here,
like shredding off the top, if you know what I mean. Like,
it's
Naoki Urasawa's works are like you're digging a hole very slowly, and you're just like delving deeper and deeper into the hole as the story goes on. But like, it's a very slow burn dig.
This one especially, I agree. And some themes are like nostalgia, power of imagination, and like your typical Urasawa like suspenseful plot with like a lot of characters and like kind of twists and stuff like that, and like kind of this like retro vibe that he brings to his manga a lot of the time. And frankly, it's an interesting read just because it's from one of the greatest mangaka of all time. So I guess at this point would be a good time to, now that I've introduced what even is a 20th century boy, this would be a good time just like, I don't know, what do you guys have a favorite character in it, I guess?
Favorite character?
No, the next thing was supposed to be comparisons.
Yeah, you skipped comparisons, but I mean, we're at favorite characters, so let's do that first.
Let's skip it. Let's go.
Let's keep everybody on their toes. I like the lady with the dog sniffing drug.
That works at the airport or whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember her names. Yeah, she was interesting. I kind of like the whole idea of her like having feelings one way and then kind of she gets disillusioned and then she comes up later again in the story. Yeah, she was an interesting character. It's tough because like all of the characters are very fleshed out and interesting, I would say. So it's tough to pick a favorite one.
Yeah.
What about
I think
you,
I'd
Jay?
go. Oh, go ahead, Jay.
Mike. Oh no.
Yeah. No, go ahead, Mike.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like I agree with Cole. It's hard to pick a specific one. I really enjoy the main character is definitely interesting because he's sort of like the central plot. But I really enjoyed the vibe of the character that we leave off with, who's like in Thailand there. Oh, yeah. I want to know what's going on with him. And I think that's just because like we're literally like the mystery just begun with him and we haven't I want to know more. I want to know what's going on with this guy, you know?
Yeah, they like just introduced the his involvement in the story, like his plot thread. And like the thing Urasawa does in a lot of his, if not all of his manga, is like he creates like a lot of different threads and then weaves them all back together into the central plot.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to find this guy's name.
Well,
but while
he
I do
didn't
that,
have a
Jay,
name. He doesn't have a name yet in the manga.
he doesn't have a name yet?
He was
Okay.
called Shogun or something. No, Roman?
Oh, okay.
Either of you remember? Whatever. Jay, who's your favorite?
Yeah,
character?
Jay, who's your guy?
my favorite character, mostly because of like the intrigue, and it's just kind of the nature of this manga. It was Friend. Just like an interesting antagonist that like they made you want to feel curious about. Who is he? Why what spurred him to want to pick up this idea? Like what's going on there? How did this all come to be? How did he start this cult? What's going on? And I think like at the end of the day, it all centers on back to him, as well as our protagonist Kenji, but mostly Friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another one in the same sense with like the mystery behind them would be like Kenji's sister as well. Not really in the story a whole lot, but like, what's the deal with Kenji's sister? Where is she? What's she doing?
Food?
Yeah.
I do see. I when I was looking up the character's name that I like, you're right, Cole. It is Shogun. Is their name?
Yeah.
His sister does appear as a main character. So I'm assuming we haven't got there yet, but I'm guessing the sister comes back at some point.
Yeah. Spoilers?
Maybe.
A little bit?
Maybe. Donkey, my guy too.
Oh, Donkey. Yeah, Donkey.
Yeah.
He's ahead of his time. He knew what was going on.
Yeah. What did he see in that classroom?
I don't know.
He jumped out the
Something.
window. Yeah. Maybe he just spooked himself. The other day, I spooked myself in my kitchen. I heard somebody coming up the stairs, and there was nobody up the stairs. But it turns out it was somebody just walking around in a bedroom. So it was all good, but
logical explanation.
Yeah, terrifying for that moment. Maybe that's all Donkey saw. It's just something out of the corner of his eye, and
you never know
so much.
You never know with Donkey.
Never know.
He's a wild guy.
Wild, crazy guy. He takes his shoes off when he runs fast.
Exactly. I was just gonna say, who does that? Crazy guys.
Yeah, crazy guys.
Speaking of crazy, though, I was crazy and skipped comparisons and recommendations.
Let me go first because I don't want you guys to steal mine.
Do you have comparisons for this one?
One for me, which like we'll kind of touch on a little bit. This is very slow start. So when I think of slow starts, and also like it's a political conspiracy theory thing, Steins Gate is what I immediately think of.
Yeah, I get that.
That was the first one off the top of my head. What about you, Jay?
Especially because it has like the kind of sci-fi feel to it that I feel like Steins Gate brings.
Yeah. Jay?
But sorry, go ahead, Jay.
I mean, we mentioned it off the top. It was something that came to mind, but like if we're looking anime, just kind of like with the present and also the past having a large effect on what's going on. Erased came to mind.
I'm writing it down right now. I just wrote it down. I wrote Erased.
Okay.
It just with like all the with the kids being maybe not a central part of the plot, but also a central part of the plot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just like it felt very similar with two different points in time being a thing. So
yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
The one I kind of thought of, and like I feel like the most obvious one is just all of Urasawa's other works.
Yeah,
but that's kind of like that's boring to say that. So I'm gonna say Dead Demons Destruction. I feel like has a similar vibe to it because it's kind of got this weird conspiracy theory. You don't really know what's going on. It's kind of a mystery. Kind of has this eclectic cast of characters that don't really they don't know all the pieces of the puzzle, but you kind of get to figure it out with them. And yeah, I think that fits this a little bit. It's kind of got that similar aesthetic to it a little bit too, in a weird way, even though they're like such different settings.
Yeah. Comparable though. Heavenly Delusion would be another one, I think.
Yep.
Just kind of those like A and B plots that kind of interweave. And you don't quite
like
know
Jay's
what's
alluded to, that the strong B plots constantly popping up is kind of like a hallmark of Urasawa's works for sure.
Yeah, like you hesitate to even say like A and B plot. They're like A1
kind
and
of,
A2.
yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like A1 and A2 and B1. You know,
Steak sauce. A1 steak sauce, brother.
A1 steak sauce,
A
delicious.
and A1.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's also A1 is like our thoughts that we have, our patented AniPro thoughts that we have about all our things that we review. So what we do when we review things now is we kind of just each like pose like conversation starters to each other, right? And the first one of these that we've proposed for us to discuss is how easy of a read was this manga for you? Did you notice the transition from chapter to chapter?
Yeah.
Would you guys say this was an easy read for you?
Well, Jay, why don't you go ahead? You're an avid manga reader.
Sure.
How did you find this one?
So when I first read Monster, the thing that I really noticed about his Urasawa's works is he does a very good job of blending the two, like the chapters together, so it feels seamless. Like there were times when I was reading it and I was like, wait, this is a different chapter. Like I didn't even notice. And so like I was kind of looking for that in here because I was like impressed by how well he did it there. And like I think that is still there, and a lot of it is because like a lot of manga will do the thing where it like recaps the previous chapter in like a couple panels before jumping into the new stuff. And his manga don't do that. His manga are just like straight stories
kind of
that
assume
like
you have some memory. They have good faith in you, which is refreshing. I will say you do know when a chapter ends.
I think like in this manga
loves the cliffhangers. Yeah.
He's really good. He did a lot of cliffhangers, especially in this manga. So yeah, probably
I second
not
your I second your thoughts though, Jake, because like I alluded to, like the perfect editions, they're the 2-in-1s that you can buy through Viz or whatever. They just have chapter numbers on them, but like frequently I'd be like, is this the end of the chapter, or did the chapter end a couple pages ago and then the page is just late? Like I a lot of the times I was like, I don't know exactly where this chapter ends, and I think actually the last chapter we read, chapter 32, was kind of like that, where I was like, did I accidentally read too far? I have no idea. I might have. I might have read a page or two too far, honestly. I have no clue.
I was going to say, like, I feel like you had a better experience with what I'm talking about because you were reading the perfect editions, whereas I think Cole and I both read online. So
yeah, if you read online, it's pretty clear when the chapters end. For sure.
Yeah.
It shows you a black screen or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like, oh.
Yeah. And then there's also like the loading between each chapter.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so yeah, I feel like so what's our consensus? Was it an easy read?
Well, hold on, because I have a differing opinion.
Yeah, go for it.
To start with, and maybe this is because like I'm not familiar with Urasawa's work, and I don't know about these like payoffs that you get with that investment into the story. The first like 12 chapters were a real slog for me. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, like
I felt like it was just tires spinning. I wasn't getting traction. But as I was reading, like I found myself like, ooh, what happens next? As I was getting into like those 15, 20, 25 kind of chapter area.
Okay.
But the first third of this, I would say was difficult to keep myself invested. I like Jay's, it was a chore.
I like Jay's analogy of the it's like digging a hole. Like he digs a hole for you, where like at the start you're kind of like, oh, okay, like this is it's not moving very quick. Like I feel like I'm not digging very deep. But then before you know it, you're like, oh, I'm like ankle deep. And then you look and you're like, oh, the walls are like around me, and you're just like you get sucked in by it a little bit.
Yeah. Well, that's also like why I thought of Steins Gate as well. Like, I dropped Steins Gate at like episode 5.
Yeah,
because
me too.
It didn't feel like it was going anywhere, and then it started getting going, and it's like, okay, now we're talking. This is good. Yeah, and that's how I feel like this went as well.
And
it almost needs that. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
I think that Urasawa, that's just kind of something that he's known for. Like, I look at Asadora, the work he's currently working on, and like it's rated like a 7.5. Despite it, like it is good, but like it's kind of still in that like building stage where he's not like he hasn't gotten to like the meat of what he's trying to do.
Right.
So like it's not in that at that point where people are like, oh, this is like this is getting somewhere.
I feel like that would be tough too for like a weekly release. Like this,
Yeah,
it works
especially
well
like the modern brain.
Yeah, it works well for like, you know, it's a completed story. You can read it from start to finish, so you get those payoffs in like a satisfying way. Where like a weekly release, like, oh man, I bet you he would have lost a lot of people in those early chapters, and even right now with what he's writing currently.
Yeah, but I think part of being like a legendary mangaka is you kind of get people give you the benefit,
a lot of runway. Yeah.
Yeah, people are willing to put up with the. He doesn't need to have a bunch of panty shots and stuff like that in the first couple chapters to keep the people interested, right? Like he's like, you're going to keep reading. I'm Urasawa.
Yeah.
And like Mike, did you have an easy time reading it?
I kind of echo Cole's thoughts a little bit. Like I did think at the beginning it was a bit, it was because you could tell it was setting a lot of stuff up and not giving you much actual payoff, I guess is what the term Cole used. But so you kind of just got a lot of like info dumps and like background character stuff. And you're just kind of like, okay, I kind of get what's going on. And then once the conspiracy stuff started really kicking off and like things started moving, then I got sucked in and it was an easy read. And I actually had to like
stop,
grip the book to stop reading because
That's why his volume 3 of it is currently in a vice. It can't be opened.
Exactly. Can't be opened. It's locked.
That kind of brings us to, I guess, my first point that I wanted to bring up. Like, can it take a story too long to get going? I think we've kind of talked about this a little bit.
Yeah, we've sort of covered it a little bit. Natural
like
segue.
in a sense like this, yes, Urasawa can be given that runway, but take it in a vacuum. Like if you just read this and you didn't know who it was or anything, do you feel like maybe you would have lost interest not knowing that this is his MO? What do you think of that, Mike?
What do you think of that?
What do you think of that point? I totally agree.
I think
though.
It's a pretty good point.
I think a story can definitely take too long and be too onerous at the start, and it'll definitely lose people. But I think a story like this, where you know what you kind of can see the writing on the wall of like, okay, I see that he's setting stuff up. This is not just boring for the sake of being boring. Like I see that there is stuff being built, you know, like sure, there's not much here right now, but my future looks bright. And I think that's the key that keeps you going, right? Because if this was just like more of a slice of life thing, if it didn't have the conspiracy stuff on it going on, you'd be like, oh, okay, there's just like nothing. What is the point of reading this?
Yeah.
Right. And then if he brought the conspiracy theory and stuff like in chapter 15 or something like that, where it's like, oh, okay, like I'm already kind of out by this point. Right. But he kind of teases it all the way through, right?
Seeds.
So
he's always leaving breadcrumbs. Like I think like either chapter 1 or chapter 2 reveals the picture that like is kind of present throughout the entire story, or at least what we've read of the story so
far. Yeah.
I think so, like chapter 1 even says like these are the people who saved the world. So like you understand that like this is going to be a story about, you know, there's going to be some payoff to this eventually.
Like
the stakes are going to get pretty high.
There's like a small narrative hook that like at least makes you want to go, well, where does that lead?
Yeah,
how do we get there?
Like you alluded to with Steins Gate, and I think that Steins Gate is the big reason why the first little bit is so slow is because it's a visual novel, and like it's trying to like it's kind of just all interaction before it figures out, okay, this is the route you're on, let's explore the route. So like at translating that to an anime doesn't really work super well, because like it's all just dialogue and different conversations with other people about certain things that are happening in but once you actually get to that point, and like I think that is a valid reason to drop off, because like it's just talking. Whereas like something like this that has that thing that can hook you on the get-go.
Yeah. Well, it's more of a story, right? Like this is
Mhm.
written explicitly to be a story, a book. It's very
Yeah.
Stephen King, like I feel like
it
this
does
whole
feel
thing.
very
Yeah.
Stephen King. But unlike Stephen King, my boy Urasawa can actually finish. And Stephen King is kind of notorious for not having a good ending. So
I mean, not to play my hand, but some of the reviews for this one do comment on the ending not being super strong.
satisfying. Okay,
yeah.
interesting.
Which is even
interesting.
more Stephen King like.
It is very Stephen King of him. Yeah, yeah. Should we go on to the next one here?
Sure.
The effective. What do you guys feel, Jay? You introduced this one actually.
Yeah,
it's
sure.
very.
I was kind of leading into it organically
big brain
anyway.
for me and Mike.
But like, how effective do you feel a simple narrative hook is to get you into a story and to get you to keep reading it?
It depends, right? Like this one, it's a big hook, right? Like these people save the world.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like, how do we get there? How
this guy's working in a convenience store. How do we get to that point? Right?
Yeah.
But
He's
like
got a baby on his back, and he's working in a convenience store. And I feel like it can work. It can work for sure.
Like
Jay, go ahead.
To me, like I felt like the simple hook in this one was just like what's this picture that was relevant all this time ago for this kid doing here now in this other context that
true. Yeah. The whole symbol
there's a few hooks.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you kind of need it in a story like this. If you didn't have those hooks, it would just be boring info dumps at the start. And it would have been even more difficult to read. At least there were kind of these questions that the story had set up with like, where's this professor? What is this symbol? Like, how is this symbol now being used by this cult? What happened to Donkey? Who's Donkey? Where are his shoes? Why does he have a towel explicitly for wiping his nose? That is disgusting.
That just appears. Yeah. And who his friend obviously is the biggest thing.
Who his friend.
Yeah.
But like
right?
like it's not doing anything crazy with its setup or with its intrigue to get you to want to keep going, but like it just gives you like these little questions in the back of your mind that you want to keep asking. It's
tasteful.
yourself.
Like it feels like it's like a lesser author would kind of like beat you over the head with these questions.
Yes.
Where this is like, I don't know, it feels organic and tasteful. I don't know how else to put it.
It lets you ask those questions yourself rather than saying like, hey, you should be thinking about this, or like, hey, this is what I want to tell you. Like spoon feeding it to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's a good writer.
Yeah.
And I think part of it too is that like, that's probably why the beginning slogged a little for us, is because it's like, it's asking a bunch of questions with not really giving you any answers, right? So that's not very satisfying. But I based on everything else I've read of his, the answers will come in time.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. I believe it.
There will be a payoff. Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing though. Like it shows you even in the first chapter that there will be a payoff. Like we know that we're going to get to a point where like the good guys win. Essentially.
Yeah.
And it's about getting there. So yeah, I mean, there's kind of a macro hook, like a big hook that gets you hooked, and then there's all the little hooks that keep you hooked. The barbs on the hook.
Yeah, barbs.
I think.
Barbs.
Yeah. Barbs. We gotta pinch our barbs off our hooks here.
We do. We do. You don't want to get a ticket.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry. This is your baby. Go ahead.
No, I was going to introduce your little things here.
I was going to do that
Fire
too.
off. Fire them cannons.
I will. Listen, I have a very smooth brain. It's made of rock, and it's made of multiple rocks, actually. Just rattling around in my skull.
Okay.
Did the time skips cause confusion for you guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Not really.
I'm wrinkly big brain though.
I'm sorry.
On the one hand, no. I got At the start, it did.
Mhm.
Because it's like, who are these children? And then, you
Mm-hmm.
get to the point where it's like, okay, no, I understand. These are the main characters just
Mm-hmm.
from way back when. It is quite a bit, though. It does do time skips. It's almost like a crutch sometimes, it feels like to me. Like it uses it to like say, oh, I don't remember this. And then it'll go back and show you. And then all of a sudden it's like they're reading the manga and they're like, oh yeah, I do remember this.
I see how you
I
could,
understand. I understand the
yeah.
narrative of it is like, that's their memory. So they're
Mhm.
remembering it through that. But it's like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I get why you wouldn't. Yeah.
Granted, I am looking for faults here, but
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
it's
I
difficult.
do, to defend my confusion at the beginning. I did also, after I feel like the flashbacks kind of they came without notice almost. Like they just was like, suddenly you start a chapter, you're in a flashback and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
I just started reading this. I don't know if these are new characters. I don't know if these are the same characters. I don't know what's going on. Right.
Yeah.
That's what got me confused. And then once I got my bearing a little bit, and I was like, okay, I know what's going on now. I know they're going to flash back every like second chapter and explain something. And then I was like, oh, okay, I know what's going on here. But it did confuse me for a bit. Do I think it was they used that for everyone forgot about it and then they flash back and then they remember it trope too much? I don't think so, because I think that's kind of, they're showing you how it happened, right? They're illustrating the memory for you. And I think
Mike's kind of playing his hand a little bit into my next point, but Jay, like you said immediately, you're like, no, I'm not confused. You guys are idiots.
No,
that's what he said. Can we roll the tape back? Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, that's what I said.
That is what he said.
No, I mean, like, it's kind of because like I knew the context of it, but like it's just like in context, it's like it makes sense that they're showing the past to like show that like this is something from the past that influenced what's currently going on.
Mm-hmm.
So from a contextual standpoint, it just made sense to me that that's what was going on. And also like it said like 1963 when it did like a flashback, and I was like, okay, that
I know it did, but I don't know how to read.
It did. It did.
I'm nitpicking. Now, the next point here, though, I'm not nitpicking about. I genuinely think that it does do this too much. Did the story use the everyone forgot about blank trope too much?
So the only thing that like I was running through my mind that can kind of relate to this is, doesn't anyone at this school have a yearbook that they can look at?
Apparently not.
Apparently not. No. Yeah.
Like my thing was like, how many times are we introduced to like someone else who was in the friend group that everybody forgot was in the friend group? Who's like, oh yeah, I forgot we hung out with you too. Who else did we hang out with? Oh, I can't remember. Wait, there was somebody else, but I'm too drunk to remember. I get
part
that
of
it's like a suspenseful
to,
story. Like that's just a narrative thing.
The vibe I was getting from it was like, yeah, they all forgot, but I think maybe like later on we might learn like they were made to forget.
Probably, but I don't know that.
That's the impression I get is like, oh, why? How come nobody seems to remember this stuff? That's odd. And I chalked it up to like, you're supposed to think that's odd because it is odd.
But then they do remember, which is kind of the problem that I have.
The thing
they
like,
do it too much, where it's like, oh yeah, we did bury that time capsule, and then there's another time capsule that they forgot about.
Yeah, the thing that like kind of registered for me was like, it was kind of like 1 year that they had together, and like it was kind of insignificant in the grand scheme of their lives. So like
that too, yeah.
Like how many people do you remember hanging out with as a kid? Realistically,
I remember all of
every
them.
single person.
Every single person. Name somebody, I'll remember them. Mike, name someone. Yeah, I remember them.
Yeah,
I remember.
Chad Blastrius.
Whoa, is that
Classic
a real person?
Chad.
I don't even
Classic
know.
Chad Blastrius.
Yeah.
What a great guy. No, I mean, I get that. It was just, I don't know. I felt like it was a crutch. One of the few crutches that this story maybe relied on too much. Again, it's a review.
Okay.
I'm being nitpicky.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
This one was purely because I felt like I had to throw something else in, was the use of the supernatural elements too much. No, I thought it was cool.
Yeah.
To be honest, it added an interesting
specifically-
point to the story.
What specifically? Which supernatural elements are you referring to?
Well, I mean, like the spoon bending stuff and kind of
Yeah.
the, like, obviously Friend has like some kind of method of brainwashing his followers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, isn't there somebody who like floats, or am I completely
Well, the
Uh,
floating
stroke
is just
right
like a parlor trick.
allegedly? That's what he said.
Allegedly.
Yeah, like that's what
parlor
Kenji
trick.
says at the
Yeah.
thing.
Which,
Yeah.
yes, I tend to agree with him. But like,
It's-
the supernatural stuff is not outrageous. It's you could say it's almost just parlor tricks, spoon
Yeah.
bending. You know, people
Yeah.
do spoon bending and floating,
Mhm.
and he's just a charismatic
Believable.
guy. It's
believable
believable.
for sure.
It's grounded.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think what he's trying to be sold as is just a master manipulator.
Mhm.
And like he created this cult that a ton of people are starting to follow, and
A little Johan-y.
little
If you're
Johan.
familiar with Monster. Yeah.
Who's Johan? Is he a guy?
Yes.
He's not in this manga. He's in another
No.
Urasawa manga.
He's
I
one of the
must have
best
missed
villains,
him.
if not the best villain
No,
of all time.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm being
Johann Liebert.
being facetious.
But yeah, I agree, Jay. I think he's kind of being set up in a similar way, but I think that this case, I think he genuinely does have kind of some sort of supernatural thing going on. That
I think so. Yeah.
I kind of
seems
hope
to be
not.
really okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know.
I
I
think it'd be
feel
a nice
like
twist.
the hyper realism idea.
Also the homeless guy who can like see the future.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one's pretty on the nose.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that one I can kind of like give a little bit of a pass because it's just kind of a way to get the plot moving forward.
Mystical old man
So like
who,
whatever.
can see the
Mystical
future.
hobo
Um,
always knows. Yeah.
But like yeah, if Friend is just like a big fraud that like is pulling,
That would
just,
be
like,
more
pulling a ton of
interesting.
strings like that.
Yeah.
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 Especially in a
That-
world with it's like an evil Reagan from
Mhm.
Mob Psycho.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
Especially
Yeah.
in a world with legitimate supernatural powers. If he doesn't have any, but he's like controlling all these people.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That'd
That
be
would
cool.
be cool.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way would be good with me. I'm interested to see where it goes either way, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. What's our
Mystery's
next point,
good.
Michael?
The next point is a J point, and he wrote. Jay, do you want to introduce this one again? Actually,
Once again,
sorry, I
too
don't have
smart
the thing
for us.
open.
you
Oh.
wrote very like point form. So I had authentic adolescent writing versus writing how
yeah. Okay.
kids act.
Did you think that or how did you think the kids were wrote? Because like a lot of time, when you see like kids or adolescents in manga or other kinds of media like that, the
Yeah.
kids are written as kind of like in a how you do fellow kids manner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like this felt pretty genuine. Like the kids were all kind of dumb.
Mm-hmm.
I know what you mean. Sometimes like kids are written too intelligently sometimes where
They're written too intelligently, or they're written like kind of like how an adult thinks a kid thinks. If you know what I
like
mean.
the whole like we set up traps to keep people from getting into our clubhouse. Meanwhile, it was like, I don't know, what did they put in? Some like things that somebody would trip on. It's like, these
Yeah.
aren't traps. Like you just
Yeah.
step over them. Very childlike.
Yeah.
Mhm. Or like
secret clubhouse kind of
the
stuff.
thing that I really liked about the kids here is like they weren't like they were pure kids, but like they weren't pure in the sense that like they had like oh nothing, like I do nothing like
Oh yeah, like they had their
I have a heart
nudie
of gold,
bag
like,
buried in the
yeah,
box or whatever,
yeah,
right?
their
Like
nudie
that's
bag, like they were
classic
making
little
like poop and
kid
fart
stuff.
jokes and
Yeah,
Mm.
things like that.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot more grounded
still
and
do
that
that.
felt real.
we know, Cole. We know.
Yeah. What does
But yeah,
poop and
I
fart
agree.
jokes have to do with being a child?
I do think he did a good job writing the kids and like having them like the neat thing is like he wrote the kids well and he managed to write their adult versions in a way that actually syncs up with their kid versions. Almost maybe I would argue maybe a little too much so, but like they don't seem to change. You know what I mean? Like I feel like people
some
change more
characters
than
feel like they're the same same character as a
Well, like, they
child.
even-
Which
I think they even say like at the reunion, like you haven't changed at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people say that all the time.
Like,
though.
People say
Yeah.
that though. Yeah.
That's almost like a thing people just say to
Yeah.
each other. But like, yeah, genuinely, sometimes they feel like there's no like internal dialogue. They're just like, oh, it's the same child, just big.
Yeah.
Just big.
Like his one buddy with the kid there that he goes and bugs. They were
Granted-
eating like crazy. But
Granted, that one is probably one of the like least fleshed out characters in this whole thing.
Yes, I agree.
He's just a
And
glutton, and that's
he's
his
a good boy.
character.
He's a
Yeah,
good boy.
and he's a good boy. Yeah, he's a good boy.
He's a good boy. The art style of Urasawa is it's signature. It's a signature of his, and you can tell it as soon as you see it. Did you guys? I've read quite a bit of Urasawa. Jay, you've read quite a bit of Urasawa now. Cole, what are your thoughts?
Well, it's very unique. Like you see anything by him, and it's immediate that you know it's by him. You think monster, you think Pluto, you think this. I think it's really good. His character designs are terrific. I mean, there's not like a whole lot of action in this, so like you're not getting like super like big splash pages or anything like that. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's clean. It's nice.
Yeah.
How would you two? How should we describe his style? Like, what would you if someone was like, what would you say his style is like? Like, how would you
almost
explain
Art
it to somebody?
Deco-y in a weird way, like character designs from like the 50s, but not
Kind of
very
noir-y.
noir-y. Yeah,
I was gonna say like caricature-esque, like those like caricatures that you see like people do in the mall.
Yeah.
you know what I think of, and it's perfect. Who did Astro Boy, Jay? Like who wrote Astro Boy?
Tezuka.
It's Tezuka, but like now
Evolved.
which is perfect that he did
Yeah.
Pluto.
Yeah. That's a good take actually. It's like if you took old school manga and like just made it like modern, but like still had it's like a retro vibe to it, even though it's new.
Yeah.
No, I
think
think he's
he's
25 years old, but it's still new.
It's a modern manga.
Yeah.
Of the modern era. I think the art in this is great. I think his character design is some of the best in manga anime.
And I think it adds so much personality to the manga. Like I feel like if it was hyper realistic, because like I feel like if you went too anime, it would kind of take you out of it. But if it was hyper realistic, then like it wouldn't have the same level of personality and charm, and you might not like be as invested in the story. Whereas like with his style, it feels like it's the perfect mesh of like realistic enough that this doesn't feel like completely out there, but like cartoony enough that it doesn't that like it feels like a story.
Yeah.
If that makes
for
sense.
sure. Yeah.
And that kind of segues into. Did you have something last you want to say?
No,
about
I
art
was
style, Cole?
I was about to
You're
do what you were
segueing
doing.
too.
Yeah.
It segued. I saw this. We both saw the segue. We want to jump on it. So this. Speaking of the story, it came out, as I alluded to, 25 years ago ish. And do you guys think like is it timeless? Does it show its age? Like what do you guys think about this story in a modern context? Reading as a modern reader 25 years later.
I think it's timeless in the sense that it's set in 99. It doesn't feel like it's set in 99. Like it's a period piece only in the sense that it's set in that time period, but like there's nothing that's like, I don't know, they're not like going out to the techno disco, like it's very timeless. There's nothing in it that kind of screams the 90s. This could take place now. It could take place in the 70s. you know?
I mean, it's political conspiracy, and that happens in modern times as much as it does in 99. Like, I mean,
right.
And just a quick little ad, just throwing this out there. Urasawa came up with this idea while he was in the bathtub, hearing someone say on TV at the UN that if it wasn't for him, they wouldn't have made it to the 20th century or the 21st century. I thought that was really cool.
Oh,
And then he's like, I gotta listen to that T-Rex song.
And then he was like, I gotta do this. I gotta draw this.
Yeah.
He ran
and
out
he
of the
just
bath
finished
yelling
watching Stand
Eureka.
By Me. Just watching Stand By Me. Again, Stephen King, Stand By Me.
Yeah.
Another comparable. Youth, children being children.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, timeless, I say.
I'd say timeless too, because it's it's sort of a period piece of like the time, and it's smart in the way that it doesn't use a lot of technology, because I find often technology is what makes things feel like janky and dated. Like you kind of like, oh, okay, like when you watch The Matrix now, you're like, yeah, that's just weird. Like we're not using payphone. What even is a payphone? I haven't seen one of those in years, right?
Or even like if you watch like Back to the Future and you see like what they thought modern times
the future would look like.
Right.
Yeah, it's difficult to do that. Yeah.
Whereas this just feels like it's just set in like, not now, but like sometime a few years ago, I guess is what I would say.
Set in last Thursday. You know?
You
like
know,
it was
like it's
not quite now, but not quite like a million years ago.
Yeah, sometime in the non-discriminate past, I guess.
I do think that there was something like that. There's some kind of thread that he had to have it put in the 90s because of the turn of the millennium. But like that's just a guess by both the title, it being 20th Century Boys, and like just the story of how he came up with it. Yeah. But aside from that, this story is as
timeless.
Yeah.
Mike, to preempt your next point, yes. Please ask your question.
I just added a quick one here because I just thought of it, and I'm like, this somehow does not have an anime, actually. And many, like, frankly, lots of Urasawas don't have. Like, the only one really is Monster I can think of, right? Other than Pluto just recently came out.
Yeah.
But that's very recent, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like he has some old works. And this does not have an anime. Do you guys feel that this should get an anime? Do you think it would work as an anime?
I think this would work really well as like a 3-part, like a trilogy movie, I think.
Yeah.
You know,
so.
You set the different, because I know that there's like, this is a sprawling story. Like it takes place over like a decade or something like that. So you kind of split the story up into like 3 parts or something like that. I feel like it. I mean, like the story is so well written. Of course it would work well as an anime.
That's true. And it's pretty grounded too, so it's not going to do anything too crazy. I do think you're onto something, but I think it probably goes the route of Pluto and does like a longer OVA is probably
that would be like totally fine too.
A couple seasons of 1 hour OVAs is probably the route.
I just hope that like it gets enough time to tell the whole story. Like if it was a 2-core show, right? I feel like that wouldn't be enough to get to what it wants to say. But if it was probably like even like something like Monster length, which is like 50 episodes, would probably be what it needs.
Yeah. Probably.
Yeah. Let's final thoughts, ratings. What do you guys
drive this puppy home? Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll lead us off, I think, because I'm the bravest 20th century boy and the oldest one. So
the 20th century boy.
Age before beauty, as they say. I thought this was pretty darn good. It was a slog to start with. So that would be kind of my like, if you're going to read it, just know that you got to like give it 15 chapters before it really starts to go. But once it's got that traction and it's done spinning out, like, oof, hold on. You're going to have a good time with it. The art style was really good. Again, like if you're going to be nitpicky, sometimes it does kind of rely on certain narrative crutches a little bit too much, like people forgetting until it's convenient to not forget. Or, I don't know, they're looking for a book and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, one character kind of says something offhand and then it's the classic, what did you just say? You know? Again, super nitpicky.
Why didn't anyone here have a yearbook from that year?
Yeah. It's
at our reunion.
It's easy to look back on it and say that kind of stuff, but when you're in the moment, you don't think about it. And that's a testament to how well this story is written. I don't know. I'm struggling to like think of anything that I would add to that. Like it's pretty simple. It's a deceptively simple story as well. I'm gonna go tickles my jimmies, I think, on this one, boys.
Okay.
Not quite certified for me. Like I'm not quite as high on this as others may be. But I think it's really good. I'll probably continue it.
Yeah.
But what I've read so far really took my jimmies, grabbed them, squeezed them lightly.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Just lightly, and then tickled them. That's what.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay?
Tickle. Yeah, I mean, I'll echo what Cole said. I think there's a lot good here, and if you're really looking for some things to nitpick, like, I mean, it does have some small faults. As someone who's read Urasawa's works, like, the one thing for me, and I mean, if you're going into Urasawa's works not having seen or read any of his stuff, it's not like you're not even going to notice it. But personally, I feel like Kenji was the weakest protagonist of the stories I've read. Just, I mean, you're going up against Tenma, who's like a super interesting, compelling character that has a compelling involvement in the main plot of the story. And I mean, Kenji does too. It just kind of feels a bit Tenma light. But I mean, and then Asa's just awesome.
Yeah, and then you got like Gesicht and Astro Boy from Pluto as well too. Like like you said, he's got some like incredible characters, and I would echo that this feels like his weakest main character.
Yeah, but I mean, Friend's a very compelling villain, though. Again, probably Johann light, if I'm being honest. But I mean, hey, I'm comparing.
That's what it feels like so far.
I'm comparing it to the best villain of all time.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's kind of hard to do that. But like, again, I'm trying to list some faults because this is a really well written and a really well written story and a really well made comic. Just like I feel like as a comic,
called a manga.
No. But like if you're to look at it as like a comic book or like not just like a, but like a, you know,
transcending the medium of manga.
Well, just like I don't know if I go that far, but like it like the idea of like panels with pages on them is a comic.
Manga's just a comic, yeah. It's same, same thing.
And it's really well done. I don't know if I'd say certified because I feel like his other works are better, but it's still real. But like good for Urasawa is still really damn good. So I'd echo Cole and say it tickled my jimmies.
Yeah. And that leaves me.
The floor is yours. Yes.
Yes, as is tradition, the person who made us read this one goes last, and frankly, I get to say the thing that the person who goes last always gets to say, and you guys have kind of just said it all. Like it's a really. Is it the best? Is it the best manga by Urasawa? No, it's not. It's just simply not. And frankly, it's easily not his best work. I'd say it's of the ones I've read his bottom work so far. And I was a little even disappointed a little bit in it that it
disgusted.
I was genuinely
appalled.
A little disappointed because I was like, oh, okay, that's just like it's really good, but it's not quite as good as his other works, and you just can't help but compare them when you're reading it because
the thing I've heard by one of my friends who's read both is like, sorry to interrupt, is like, depending on which one you've read between Monster and 20th Century Boys is the one you'll think is better, or which one you've read.
I could
first.
see that.
Yeah,
I could see that. I am curious to see where it goes, and like the perfect editions are great versions of this. If anyone's looking to collect a beautiful manga physically, I really appreciate that, and I really enjoy the story so far. I'm curious to see where it goes. I'm glad I can finally finish the second volume because it's been driving me nuts having this volume sit half finished for like weeks now because I accidentally read this 3 weeks ago and thought it was the review that week. But all in all, I can't give it a certified either, just like Jay said, because I know what the peaks look like. I've seen the top of the mountain. And this is somewhere along the middle. It's a tickle of my jimmies for sure.
Yeah.
This one tickled my jimmies. Yeah.
Swept tickles my jimmies.
Yeah. It's certified tickled of jimmies is what this one is.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think go read it if it sounds interesting. I think it's worth reading for sure.
I'd say so.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Check out Monster first.
Man, we love doing reviews so much. We've got another review next week. We are reviewing Tamako Market. It's an anime this time. That's my anime, so I get to go last next time.
Mm-hmm. You do.
Yeah, so there's your homework for this week, ladies and gentlemen. Go watch Tamako Market. It's from KyoAni. I'm sure it's delightful. I haven't watched it yet, though. We'll see. We've got manga reviews coming up as well. Our next manga review is Love Bullet. And our next anime reviews after Tamako Market, we've got Umamusume, Pretty Derby, and Kids on the Slope. So we've got a girl in a market. We've got horse girls, and we've got jazz musicians, I think.
Yep.
Got a lot going on.
We got it all.
Yeah,
what more could we possibly want?
And then for manga, we've got Cupid.
And for manga, we've got Cupid, but with a gun, I think. A love gun.
Yeah.
Isn't that a Kiss song?
I don't know.
Yes,
Thank
it is.
you so much for listening to another episode of AniPro. If you liked it, please leave a like, subscribe, leave a review, tell a friend about us. If you really like us, why don't you consider supporting us on Patreon like these lovely people, Mr. Family Guy 36, Elijah Wood, Braindead B-Dog, Peach, Frama, Kratos, Just Juzz, Mog, Uncle of Light, and Super Mexi.
I'm giving them each $20 bills now.
Oh,
so you're giving them their money back?
I think now we legally have to give them 20 Canadian dollars.
Oh,
so that like 5 cents American?
No, this was good enough through the camera. They received it. Yeah.
The spirit, yeah. By supporting us on Patreon, you get access to Mike's money personally, but like kind of virtually.
You get the sentiment of Mike's money.
Like a token. Yeah, you get the idea of it.
Yeah, you get access to all sorts of perks as well, and it really helps the show out, so we really appreciate that. We're also on social media at AniProPod, and please join our Discord community to keep up with us and other listeners. Links to all of that is in the description or at our website, AniProPod.com. That's right, we have a website, AniProPod.com.
We're that cool.
Jay, we are that cool. Jay, why don't you lead us in a round of bye-byes this time?
I will. Let's all put our hands together and say, as we do, put our palms together, say as we do, at the end of every episode of AniPro.
I am Makima.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, friend.
Bye-bye.